We have the professor with us, and Mike Lubie, of course, has stated his position on last night's Dolphin game, angry with all of these social media posts about Brian Flores, which, Professor, I mean, looming very large right now is the fact that you had what appeared to be or sounded like
Right?
just an absurd
And we
conspiracy
get a little
theory.
like Lubie's getting angry.
Yeah.
Can we get angry that Stephen Ross and the Dolphins let Ryan fucking Fitzpatrick into the building to spread his lucky charms magic?
Oh my God,
And
you're right.
First fucking time they do it, Tua goes down with a concussion, probably a career ender. Like, how do you let that piece of shit into the fucking building?
Good for you, Ken. I didn't even think about that.
The fucking cops arrest Tyreek Hill, but you let Ryan Fitzpatrick run around the city. Do your fucking job, Miami Dade. The minute that fucking Lucky Charms motherfucker showed up in the city, he should have been thrown in fucking prison. Like, the man spent 2 years along with Flores trying to kill Tua. And the first time he shows up, what happens?
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you. Today's edition of the Defo Show. It's a, we got the trivia challenge coming up later on today. That's coming up shortly with one Dave Gurgles Gurgly. We have Mike Lubie with us, and I'm Jeff DeForce. Of course, good to have you guys with us here on the program. One thing we haven't been able to do, and we were just talking about this a little bit, going back and revisiting some New York history, at least my own New York history, Lubie, was your trip to New York.
Yeah,
which
it's been a wild week.
I'm a little disappointed in. Talk about capitulating to the desires of a woman.
100%.
I understand that that's probably not a bad move once in a while. I can't really stick with it, right? And unfortunately for me, if I go to some degenerate environment like Las Vegas or Atlantic City, or even just going down the street here to what is now known as the Pomp of Pompano, which is kind of a dumb. Is that not a dumb marketing slogan? I don't.
It's weird. I don't understand.
Kind of weird. Harris Casino.
You guys calling it the Pomp, like we always have nicknames for places, but I don't understand them calling it that.
The Pomp of Pompano.
That makes no sense.
Sounds like a place where, you can go and get some cheap sex.
100%.
I'm going to the Pomp of Pompano. Yeah, I just need a blowjob. Whatever. No, I mean, and it's a good place. I mean, it's a well-run casino. And I have no complaints about it. I enjoy going there to play the horses and all of that. But, yeah, I mean, if I go to one of these places with the Mustang, any kind of gambling destination, she's off to the slot machines right away. We don't even say, like, okay, see you later. It's just like as soon as we walk in, she goes her way, whoosh, I go mine. Because I'm up there with the horses. But you had to endure and engage Shirley in metropolitan art museums.
We did all the very.
Did you go to the Guggenheim or whatever? I mean,
the Guggenheim. That's the only one. I mean, I guess there's more. It's New York, but
like a zillion museums there. You can't go wrong with that.
The major three I've heard of. We at least knocked out 2 of those on this trip. Thank goodness.
I had an epiphany when I was in like the 4th grade or something. We went to one of these art museums, and it literally was a prelude. I should have realized that this would be the future concept for Art Basel, because I remember being in the museum and on the wall, and it was just a giant wall. You know how they have like one painting on a giant wall, one piece of art. I guess it wasn't even a painting, and they literally had a blank canvas hanging on the wall, and that was it. And I thought, what the fuck is that? I'm in the 3rd grade. And there was, somebody that was like a tour guide trying to explain how wonderful this was. And I thought, I mean, this guy just came in there and pulled one over your fucking eyeballs, hung this empty canvas, blank canvas on the wall and told you this was art, which I guess, from an existential standpoint, it could be considered art, right? Nothingness of life, whether your life has any meaning. I mean, these are the kind of things you contemplate on the walk of life. I don't think too much about it. Let's put it that way. But where you're saying, hey, where the fuck did I go wrong? Or, and I've, in general, if I checked out today, I lived a pretty good life. I mean, I got to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do. I was involved in sports my whole life. I wanted to be Don Dunphy. I got to call boxing. I did some play-by-play, a lot of talk shows, made a lot of friends, got to go to a lot of tremendous sporting events. I really would have no complaint. But if you're examining, does it all have any meaning in the end? I don't know, Louis. What do you think? I got a wonderful son. He's got 2 beautiful children, a lovely wife. I don't know what can I really complain. Is there meaning there, Lubie? Can you attach some meaning?
Meaning,
Other side of that, I've been married 3 times, buried in various gambling endeavors.
I was waiting till we get it on there.
A lot of fights.
That threats.
What does it all mean, Lubie? I don't know. So I mean, but this is the kind of thing that you end up doing. I recommended you go to Yonkers Raceway and just hang out with the lowest level of degenerate slime. Maybe even the Jamaica OTB would you can't bring a woman to the Jamaica OTB, especially if she's not inclined. I mean, if she was like an ex jockey or exercise writer or something, she might enjoy it. Even then, I mean, it'd be hard pressed to make a case for it.
I like that both you and Mayo, because I took the train route in because the cab was just fucking insane. And you stop at the Jamaica station. That's how you transfer from the air train to eventually get to Grand Central.
Believe me, many visits to the Jamaica Railroad Station. That's what I used to do to run up Sutphin Boulevard there. Which I hope you didn't stop there and walk around, because it was not good then. I mean, when I was 16, I literally, Lubie, this is true. I went from being one of the slowest runners in my high school to one of the. I mean, I wasn't like going to win any sprint championships, but I had a burst of speed that was the equivalent of anybody. Just from running from the subway station where they let you off on Sutphin Boulevard and running what had to be maybe a mile or two. And Andy can relate to this if he's okay. I don't know if he's fully aware of what's going on around him yet, because the guy went through like 10 hours of surgery. This guy.
He's responding to us. He said, "So it is a Happy New Year, Rosh Hashanah this year," and he said, "This week is where they inscribe you into the Book of Life."
Yeah.
And that he was inscribed in the Book of Life on a week-to-week basis.
This guy has, an endurance and tolerance for pain and suffering like nobody I've ever seen, and can joke his way right through, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I love the guy.
No, I mean, you would want to go out the door that way if you were knocking on the door, knocking on devil's door there. But and Andy can relate to this, because I mean, I used to run up, and Polyman used to, be well aware of the circumstances. And I would run from the Sutphin Boulevard subway station to the Jamaica Railroad Station, because it was like 1 a.m, and you couldn't catch the trains out of the Woodside Station, which was closest to Shea, which, by the way, the Mets, wow. I mean, had a shot there, and I guess you could always second guess the manager, but he had a chance to put Edwin Diaz in the 8th inning of a game against Milwaukee yesterday that the Mets were leading. Opted not to do that, and they ended up getting torched for I think 3 runs in that frame, and ended up losing the ball game. So they're the only 2 teams left, Milwaukee and the Mets, contesting the first round of the playoffs, the wild card round of the playoffs. The other series are all finito. Detroit beating Houston 5-2. That was a bit of a surprise. I think Houston was cursed from the time that on another show I mentioned that I thought they had a good chance to win it all. That was, of course, I didn't really put it that way. It was like, you can't discount the Astros, can you? And the guy agreed with me. And then I'm looking like a fool here with an omelet on my face as Detroit wins. Detroit was red hot. And I loved them in game 1 of the series. I don't know about game 2. You thought maybe Houston would bounce back and force a third game at least. The Royals pulled off a little bit of a shocker, right? Getting little consideration as they knocked off Baltimore and won that series 2-0. And then the Padres, hot down the stretch there. They were breathing down the necks of the Dodgers, perhaps for the NL West title. And they held up all of the Atlanta Braves, who rallied behind your man, Jorge Soler, yesterday, but fell short as San Diego. I think they put up 4 runs in like the 3rd inning or something. I was watching that part of the game, and it looked like they had the thing salted away. And Atlanta came back, but not enough to come back and win the series. But I wanted to get into the food aspect. You say you had an Italian dinner somewhere in Little Italy, and dinner for 2 with wine or drinks. What was $80?
Might have been less. Yeah, it was actually an impressive,
and a tip on top of
New
that.
York's very. That's what I'll give New York. Like, it's expensive wherever you want to go. It is, but because I went to a place that I thought was a deli, but I guess it was a diner, and they were sit down, but people were going and ordering coffee and stuff. But 2 bagels and 2 coffees was $20. So New York, okay? Yeah. I wasn't even shocked by that. Fine. Yeah. The next day, I went to a fucking bodega that had that actually was more prepared. This place didn't even have like certain things. Like I asked for like tomatoes and cucumber and onion, and they gave me lettuce, tomato, and cucumber. I'm like, who puts lettuce on the other place, the bodega that was actually even more prepared? I got 2 coffees and 2 bagels for $10. So in the
I would have gone back there. Yeah.
So like that's New York, right? Like it's expensive, but if you know what you're doing, you can go to certain places, and it's like rent control does exist there. So like certain places you will get, like if you go to the Little Italy's, if you go to Chinatown, if you go, we wanted to go to Koreatown. We didn't go there, but I presume Koreatown, you can find places like that have been there for 60 years. So they get break. Like we went to this place, Paisanos, that has been there for like 50 years. And they use the same recipes. And Shirley went a couple months ago when she was there on a business trip. And it's like a throwback. The prices, it's not like, okay, the 70s, but it's like 10 years ago, like pasta dishes are like $15 and they give you like a plate and it's as good as you've ever had. It's homemade pasta. It's even mayo would sign off on. And the chicken dishes are like around $20. And it's a chicken parm that's like when you
more than reasonable. You know? Yes.
And then 2 glasses of wine. I think it was like less than $80. Like,
for kind of level of quality was the wine.
Yeah, it was good wine. No, Shirley.
Oh yeah, good. Better than Manischewitz. Or people do you drink Manischewitz on Rosh Hashanah?
Yes.
Manischewitz. Oh yeah. Okay.
Or kosher wine. I mean, now we've grown.
Did they ever expand their horizons, Manischewitz, and make like a drinkable wine?
No, it's horrendous. They have like 3 different kinds of.
It really tastes like cough medicine. It does.
Yeah, it's rough. It's really
very bad. That was my first experience with alcohol. And I've been seeking
ways you drink so much
to satisfy myself ever since. Yeah. Although I'm kind of wined out, I rarely drink wine anymore. Very rarely, and there's always plenty of it. But the one thing you say the hot dogs on the street that used to be a quarter.
It depends.
Are now $7.
No, they're not. Look, that's the thing is like. When I went there years ago, you would still see the cart where it was a dude who just did hot dogs, maybe did pretzels. But now the last 3 times I've been there, what I've noticed is it's almost like, I don't know if it's regulated, but like it's all the cart that has like 20, they have
a big truck and they have everything. Yes.
They have falafel and they have pretzels and they do Euro and then they also do hot dogs. So, okay, all right. So to look for the cheapy one doesn't exist. They're regulated. Fine. So I saw one. We were staying in Midtown, which is outside of like the tourist area. And it was like $2.50 for a hot dog, which look, I mean, even now, if you go to a restaurant, you're spending $4.
$2.50 is more than reasonable.
In New York, for anything less than $3, that's fucking amazing. So I'm like, all right, cool. Wherever I get one of these, because that's what I noticed too, is the prices are pretty similar wherever you go. I didn't think about, except for Times Square, where, like, every Yahoo.
Is Tad's Steakhouse still there? They're not still there.
I don't know. Times Square stresses me out. Like I like it for the first 5 seconds because there's nothing like it. Like the
too many weirdos, right?
The TVs. Bingo. I've been there enough now where I don't feel like a tourist. Now I go and I look at all the people actually watching the dude break dance and actually giving that guy money while his friend's stealing from your purse. And like where they lay out the purses. So you bend down to grab a purse and they steal from your pocket. Like I've been there enough, and I'm from South Florida. So like that stuff just stresses me out. I don't get excited. I'm not a tourist. Like I think of myself as someone who's been there enough where I put my hand on my front pocket. She puts her hand, she covers her purse and we fucking go. But right before we got there 2 blocks away, I wasn't thinking. And I'm like, all right, let me get, because surely we had planned eating, not Mayo fucking $300 meals, but like places she had heard of or tried that she wanted me to try that she knew I'd enjoy that wouldn't break the bank. So I was like, fuck, I'm never going to get a hot dog. Like, I'll get my bagels, but I always love getting a hot dog. So I'm like, fuck it, let's get one here. And I didn't realize we were like so close to Times Square. And I get the hot dog. I'm like, all right, how much? He's like, $7.50. I'm like, $7.50? I'm like, it's the same fucking hot dog.
You got to leave him what, the rest of the 10?
I don't know.
Throws a knife in your back? I'm not sure how that works. I just remember, I mean, there were you could go to a ball game and get a hot dog for a quarter. Jesus. When they were, I was selling souvenirs at Shea, the hot dogs were a quarter. Can you imagine?
That's nuts.
4 hot dogs for $1. And then the people would complain, well, what the fuck, a quarter? No, I'm talking hundreds of years ago, if you're looking at my case there. I do remember the soft pretzels being, I think at one time they might have been 3 for a quarter.
Oh, my God.
but they were definitely 3 for $1 before I exited New York, and that's like 50 years ago. And now I would imagine
They're like 4 or 5.
they're at least a few bucks a piece.
They're
No?
like $4 or $5.
But they're not the same. Since they took it's probably a good thing, right, for people's overall well-being that they took the lie out of the equation there, the recipe. But I think that's what made them great. I mean, it made them very unique. Those soft pretzels. I haven't had anything that rivaled it since. Come right out of the tunnel there after exiting Long Island, and there was the guy with the looked like he just changed the oil in his car, and he would hand you with no gloves or anything on. He would just hand you these pretzels. And you didn't mind the oil staying on there. You would just work your way around that, and eventually you would realize, hey, you know what? What the fuck? It probably tastes the same. I'll eat that too. We got Dave Gurgles earlier. We get into the trivia challenge here. Jalen Phillips out for the season. That's other sporting news. I did read this, and this is a little sports business. That guy, Tsai, Japanese like zillionaire that owns the Brooklyn Nets and many other entities. I think he owns the WNBA team there also, New York Liberty, and other sporting interests. Apparently is going to buy 10% of the Miami Dolphins sporting enterprise from Stephen Ross and company. The price tag puts the evaluation of the Dolphins franchise and the stadium and the whole thing at $8.4 billion.
Jesus.
So when you look at and you see Stephen Ross, now he must have invested, imagine, at least double what he paid for the Dolphins in upgrading the facility, putting the whole Formula One thing in there and the other stuff that he's got going on, tennis center.
That's the thing is he's made it a year-round facility, and the stuff that they have there is stuff that brings people from around the world, like the Lip or whatever the fuck it's called, the Hard Rock.
Miami Open.
Miami Open is for years. It's still considered like the pseudo.
It's a great event.
The 5th Grand Slam, the pseudo 5th, whatever that went in. Indian Wells. Those two people, call it as like a major tennis event that still gets people from everywhere. And the fucking F1 thing, like none of us can understand it, but it gets people.
I don't get it.
Arabian princes, and it's like
people are coming by camel. I mean, it's crazy. But $8.4 billion. So no wonder he's always smiling there in the booth with that Art Garfunkel guy. Right? They're smiling, and all the other guys that are on the football side of the operation are just laced with anxiety, are they not? I mean, you see, even Nat Moore is biting his fingernails, wondering if he's going to be able to hang around the team any longer. But this guy's waltzing all the way to the bank. He's got a side enterprise here that he probably, tripled his money on? Yes. And we're talking about tripling money that was in the billions. It's not like Gurgles goes to the track, makes a show bet, bets $2 and gets back $6. Gurgles, how are you, my friend? Good to have you on the show.
Doing wonderful. Hey, Mike, with the Jewish holidays coming up, I don't know if you know it, but one of the mainstream wines has come out with a nice kosher wine. It's Boonstein Farms has come out with Strawberry Hill Ale. So I don't know if you'll like that. It's different.
It would be interesting to have a taste test of Boone's Farm versus Manischewitz.
Boone's Farm probably better.
Boone's Farm would be, some high-end wine that was a rarity compared to Manischewitz. Did you ever drink any Manischewitz, Gurgles, at a bar mitzvah?
I did not. I dated a Jewish girl in college, and we broke up when she refused to split a ticket with me going to some concert.
I thought it was a pick 6 ticket. She wanted to only buy 10% of your $120 investment, and you insisted she take half. How are you, Dave? How's everything going?
Doing fine. And our Perdomo pick of the day last week was the University of Indiana.
Yes.
Over Maryland. Yes. And Maryland beat them by 30 last year. Indiana beat them by 28 this year.
Nice.
So they were a good one. Them and Army. I had Army over with my apologies to you too. Temple. They beat Temple easily too. So
yes.
And don't forget this Friday is the opening day of Keeneland.
Yep.
Very nice. That's tomorrow. And that is the temple of the gods of horse racing. I would say that. Everybody loves Saratoga, and Saratoga is different, probably has a little bit more overall in terms of atmosphere and places to go and hang out and sites and things like that. But Keeneland, always a joy to go there. Is it still on your bucket list, or have you been?
Yeah, we're planning a trip. We got about 5 or 6 of us planning a spring trip.
Nice.
And I've been doing the research. A lot of people fly Allegiant, but American Airlines has got a flight Wednesday, leaving Fort Lauderdale at like 6:40 in the morning. You get there at 10:30, and you're there for the first post. So
Well,
yeah,
that's
there's
a good deal.
half
Well,
a
I mean,
dozen of us are looking to go in the spring.
you could walk from the airport to the track. Actually, you can't really walk. I mean, you have to navigate your way around a lot of perimeter type of stuff, but it's right there. I mean, you land and you're 5 minutes away by car from the track, which is absolutely beautiful. You're going to love it, Gurgles. You need to catch a nice day, which I would say if you're there for like 3 days, I would venture to say, unless you really have awful luck, you're going to catch at least one of those beautiful days where it's just blue skies and you're looking and thinking, my God, I must have died and gone to degenerate heaven because this is absolutely beautiful. And what's great, too, is the people love it. It's very much like Saratoga, but even more so. It's more, what would it be, provincial or whatever. That is where, everybody in the town, they're all over it. And all the young kids from the University of Kentucky are out there all dressed up and everybody looks great. Great respect for the traditions of Keeneland Racecourse, which is a lot of fun. And of course, you get some really great racing. And as you like to, see, you get a lot of price horses in there too. Yeah, they always mix in a couple of bombs. That's
and
for sure.
Them, along with Gulfstream, I think, are the only two tracks that pay 4 out of 5 in a pick 5.
Very nice. Very nice. And that would be something I would recommend becomes universal, because how many times have you said it? Fuck, I left out the 2 if I had it. At least you get some kind of consolation. And sometimes you'll hit the thing and then have a zillion consolation tickets.
Right.
Which is nice. That's where you can really make it. Didn't that happen to you at Saratoga when you were up there?
Yeah, we got rained off the turf, and we ended up with 25 consolations at $54 a piece. So we did okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. All right, Dave, we're going to come back with the trivia challenge. You can jump on board if you want to play, 954-417-0070. If you want to dial us up on the phone lines, Lubie's going to be working the phones. Dave's got the questions. You can win a Landlubber's gift certificate. Lubie and the professor will be there later on tonight for what has turned out to be, I think, probably the best run, at least according to reviews, trivia competition that you'll find at any establishment. So there's a lot of applause that should be in line for those two guys on creating something of that stature and that level of distinction. You can catch that later on, and Landlubber's gift certificate will be at stake as we play the trivia challenge with Dave Gurgles Gurgley in a moment. Now that
the time,
it's 8:25. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now 1.8 miles. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the program. Getting started here with the Trivia Challenge with Dave Gurgles Gurgley. That's Mike Lubie Lubitz in the one box here. I'm Jeff DeForest, and very happy to have you guys with us here for the show. You can dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. We want to get right into it as we have competitors lined up and ready to go. So we begin the game. You just heard the dulcet tones of the legendary South Florida. What would it be? I mean, should he not be the poster child for what South Florida life is all about? The Polyman, Paul Massell.
For sure.
Unbelievable guy. And what we always are thinking about the Polyman, and his name will be synonymous forever with the various formats of the Trivia Challenge. So we begin in the traditional fashion in honor of the Polyman with Dave Gurgles Gurgley and some
Easy baseball. This Yankee manager on one of his straight-laced, clean-living players said, "Look at him. Look over there at Bobby Richardson. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't chew. He doesn't stay out late. And he still can't hit 250. Late, great Casey Stengel, Casey Kasem, Ben Casey, or Bernie Casey.
Didn't Richardson flirt with 300 a couple of times? I know his lifetime average was something like 260-something, but I always thought he was a better hitter for average. All right, we have Pat. You're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, guys. Happy New Year. Hey.
Where are you, Pat? You're still in Albany? I mean, you're around the corner. Saratoga's closed now.
Florida.
Oh, you're here in Florida. Okay, good.
I'm back home.
Very nice. You also, in addition to being back home, you have 1 point. You're in the game.
All right, football, Pat. Believe it or not, Pete Rose was the starting running back in his freshman year on his Lebanon, Ohio football team. True or false?
I'll say false.
I'll say true.
Yeah, that's true.
True?
That's
true.
true.
I mean, you could see him being a running back. Old school, right up the middle there.
Off he played.
Yeah. You know what I love about the whole Pete Rose story?
Obvious.
Is that he was actually signing autographs somewhere the day before he died.
Yes.
He went to his grave doing his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a picture of him, what was it, September 30th or whatever, the 29th, he's signing autographs. And then checked out, after looking like he was fine the day before. So you never know, people, when their number is up. All right, you are one, going for four.
All right, football, Pat. Who was the first quarterback this season to throw for over 300 yards in a game? Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, Andy Dalton, or Matt Stafford?
Dalton.
You said Dalton.
Dalton,
right? Yeah.
That's correct.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. That was the first one.
Yeah, it was weird, but yep.
Very good. Tua in week number one, didn't he throw for 300 or something?
He was the second guy.
Yeah. And that will end up being the Dolphins' season-long passing total, I think. Did they sign Jalen Phillips to an extension? They probably will negotiate with him now that he's got his knee severed and in total disrepair. All right, going for 9 here, Pat, to set the pace.
All right, Pat. Golf. 2 players share the record for the most hole-in-ones during their career in PGA events with 10. Robert Allenby and
that's amazing.
Greg Chalmers, Scott Hoch, Hal Sutton, or Bob Tway.
10 holes in one.
Jesus.
Who was the first guy?
Greg Chalmers, Scott Hoch, Hal Sutton, or Bob Tway.
You said B, right? B as in boy?
B. Yep. Scott Hoch.
Yep.
No, it was C. Hal Sutton, the guy that had the Popeye forearms.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting start, Pat. Hang on, you may be in the finals.
Quattro there for Pat. You can jump on board at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play the game. And we will continue taking your calls at that number, but we want to inform you about, this guy's just been a mensch all the way through, huh? Nick Perdomo with cigars.
Yeah, I stopped by Perdomo Cigars, as a matter of fact, yesterday, and there's a new addition. His lovely daughter had a little baby girl. She got 2 girls now, so they've got 3 grandchildren now that will look to probably carry on that Perdomo tradition, which is already in its 3rd generation. And they are a legendary company, and they're located right just a little bit east of Miami Lakes. 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto on the south side of the street. Open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. This weekend, the forecast is iffy, whether you're going out in a boat or sitting in your Florida room. A nice Perdomo cigar would be something perfect to have in your hand. Whether it's a mild Connecticut wrapper, a little more strong Maduro wrapper, they make them perfect one at a time. 305-627-6700, the number to call. And I told you where to go in person. Nubia, the hostess, will lead you into the humidor built by our late great friend, the Mad Dog. Say hello to Nick Jr., Janine, the whole Perdomo family. They make them perfect one at a time. So this weekend, when Indiana and Northwestern go over 40 and a half, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
Many people loving Indiana right now.
And actually, my big bet was I bet before the playoffs started, I bet the San Diego Padres at 6-1 to win the pennant.
The pennant, okay.
Series.
So just they have to get by 2 more series. Dodgers up next for them, right?
Right, and I think they have a winning record this year
against
the Dodgers.
Yeah, they play them well.
What they play? Did they play 13 games and it went 7-6, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. And the other one is, before the season started, I bet Cincinnati Bengals under 10.5 wins.
Ooh, good for you. Holy shit.
So
can they even
I went to the Hard Rock just the other day, and they put them up during the season. The under-over now is 8.5. So now I bet the same amount on the over.
Well, you're trying to middle this
thing. They win 9 or 10. And if they don't, I'll lose a couple bucks.
Yeah,
but if
you might have outsmarted
get them on both sides.
I was going to say, I think.
I'm no good at that. Whenever I try to hedge. Go ahead,
I took a shot. Yeah, for $50 each
so
way.
They can still get there, though. Okay, so you have.
Yeah, if they win 9 or 10. So I got 2 chances to happen. So we'll see.
2 chances to win 1. Very good, sir.
Good for you.
It's kind of like the guy that's throwing the, sock-like consistency ball against the big metal milk things at the carnival.
Yes, yeah, the milk cans.
Like you could hit these with a bowling ball at full speed, and they wouldn't even wiggle. And you're trying to win a big bear for some chick that doesn't care about you to begin with. All right, this is great. Our next set of questions coming up here, and we do feature. It's interesting since the switch in format. We get people that are either incarcerated, hospitalized. And or just stuck at home with no place to go. But this will be legendary. What comes up next year, I believe. Go ahead, fire up the questions there, Dave.
All right, hockey. This player, looking at one of his fellow teammates who was in terrific condition on his own physical conditioning, once said, "Yeah, I've got a washboard stomach too. It's just that mine has about 2 months worth of laundry on top of it." What's that? Sean Burr, Raymond Burr, Aaron Burr, or Johnny Kerr?
Good Raymond Burr reference. Roll the scrambler here. We better get to this guy quickly because we don't know what his situation is exactly. And after facing 10 hours of surgery, unmerciful, body invasion by the doctors at, the Boca West Hospital, here's Andy on the Trivia Challenge. Andy, how are you, my friend?
I think I'm still alive.
You sound good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm down 120 pounds. You saw the dinner they gave me yesterday.
That food didn't exactly look like it was representative of something you would see on Mike Mayo's lunchbox.
I'm fighting for I'm making my comeback. I'm fighting for the flyweight championship of the world.
Maybe the fighting rabbi can train you. That'd be awesome. You're reforming. A good buddy.
He gave up. He retired. Yuri's no longer fighting.
Very nice. All right, you have 1 point, and I'm glad you're okay, man. That didn't sound good. And then I saw that video you posted on Facebook, and it really looked like. I mean, if you were going to do a show called "From the Grave," Lubie and I have thought about that would have been the perfect way to open things up. So you sound great. You sound great, kid.
Well, out of anesthesia the second time, the number's 16,347,000. So,
that is it, man. When you see that number, you realize it was your lifetime losses.
That was the loss number.
All right, 1 going for 2.
All right, wrestling, true or false, Andy? Believe it or not, Pete Rose once appeared at a WWE event dressed as the San Diego Chicken. True or false?
I remember him being at a WWE. I'll say true on it.
I'm going to go
That's
true.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did that. Anything for a buck.
Yeah, of
Wow.
course.
All right. 2 for 2, Andy.
All right, here we go.
Seems like this has improved your overall mental sharpness.
Well, you started 0. It's not hard.
A lot of drip is serving your brain well. 2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, let's go to another guy we lost tragically this past week. Dikembe Mutombo.
John Amos.
Amos, too.
On
John
March
Amos, too,
2nd,
yeah.
2007, as a member of the Houston Rockets, Mutombo, in a win over this team at age 40, became the oldest player in NBA history to record more than 20 rebounds in a single game.
Jesus.
That team that he beat that day was
Ooh.
Golden State, Chicago, Denver, or New Jersey.
Thought it was always the Milwaukee Bucks, the answer to these kind of questions. No?
No. I'll go with the Nets. I'll go with the
Nets.
No, it was a team that originally drafted him, the Denver Nuggets.
Oh, the Nuggets. Oh, wow.
Should we give it to him anyway on the hospital clause?
Nah. No charity. No charity.
Nah,
2 going for 7.
Yeah, he's got a 5-pointer.
Got to fight your way for it.
Okay, let's go back to our other guy that we're featuring today, Pete Rose. In 1963 spring training, Pete Rose got the starting second base job when this player was injured.
Good question.
Who was that player? That player was
Ooh.
Tommy Helms, Chico Ruiz, Don Blasingame, or Dwayne Hickman.
Oh, tough choices, but I think I know it.
I think I know this because Tommy Holmes came later. Well, Tommy Holmes, I remember he was like 65. Who was the third guy? Who Who came out?
Don Blasingame.
Don Blasingate?
Blasingame.
Yeah.
Is that who he said?
I'll go with, I think it was, who are the other two? I'm pretty sure it's Blasingame, though.
Tommy Helms, Chico Ruiz, Don Blasingame, or Dwayne Hickman.
I'll go with Blasingame. Dwayne Hickman was
That's correct.
Nice call. Wow.
Well done. Of course, Dwayne Hickman was Dobie Gillis. Yeah.
Your cognitive faculties have remained intact.
They cleaned me out, you know.
The fuck?
Hang around, you're going to be in the finals.
They must have done some kind of purification of your mind also. Excellent. No longer in the gutter. Andy.
That's so funny.
With a big 7 spot. Excellent job. All right, 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070 if you'd like to join us here on the phone lines. Any Pete Rose contact? I'm sure you ran into him at some point in time, Dave Gurgles Gurgley, because he was always circulating around racetracks and sports bars and things.
Pete on the 4th floor of the old Calder up on the clubhouse.
Yes.
Betting with the tellers and everything like that. And he was a little bit on the brusque side, if you will. And, he was single-minded when he was betting. He was tough. I've heard some great stories about him from other people when he wasn't involved in that atmosphere.
It could be abrasive, I guess you would say. Kind of came off that way. I mean, that was his whole attitude. He was the embodiment of that aggressive sort that, hey, leave me alone here. I'm on a roll. Very approachable. Most people, though, that you run into that are of celebrity stature, they are mostly approachable when they're at a racetrack or a parimutuel facility, not necessarily always in a casino where they don't like to be bothered while they're playing blackjack or casino games. But racetrack, usually you end up in conversations with these guys and find that they have a whole nother side to them. Pete was always great because he always had a stack of hundreds on his table and nobody would touch it. They just left it. I mean, it's like, whoa, isn't that a stack of money over there? There's nobody at that table. And if you went near it, all of a sudden, it was like, hey, what are you fucking doing? That's Pete's money. All right, next set of questions. Dave Gurgles Gurgley.
Okay, we're ready with another set?
Yeah.
Golf. This South Florida humorist on the history of golf said, although golf was originally restricted to wealthy, overweight Protestants, today it's open to anybody who owns hideous clothing. What's that? Dave Barry, Gene Barry, Rick Barry, or Barry Manilow?
Great observation. Here's the scrambler. And Ron is our next player in the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Sharp players so far today, no matter what condition they're in. You have 1 point.
And Ron and Lenny are part of our triumvirate. They gave me $20 a piece when we went to Saratoga.
Yeah.
I ran it down a little bit, and then last week we hit an exacta, and Place and Show, I think on Romero Mirage, we've got it back up to like $96 now.
Ooh,
So we
okay.
still have that money, Ron.
Yes.
There you
Will you
go.
be seeing these guys anytime soon, Gurgles, or do they have to come
Yeah,
join
I may see them, but I'm not giving them the money. Are you kidding me?
Gotta
you?
keep it
Got
rolling.
no cash on me today. I mean,
We're
might
going
you
to
hit
keep
me
it
up?
through Breeders' Cup with a little
Gotta
bit of
keep
luck.
it rolling.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Ron. Soccer. The napkin that bears the signature of Lionel Messi, on which at age 13 he signed his first pro contract with the Gatlin Giants, is set to go on sale in the UK with a starting price of £300,000. True or false?
It's like $600,000.
Oh my God. True.
True.
That is true.
That's true.
That's true.
I don't know if Jim Sarney is a fan of the show anymore. I haven't seen him comment on the chat line, but we would be obligated because of Sarney. And he gets in your head, this guy, to mention that Messi had 2 goals last night.
Oh, he did. He was messaging me like multiple soccer texts. I'm like, he can't think I'm reading these. Like, there's no way I'm not paying attention to anything.
Yeah, I mean, your first thing is to think block number, but and it's a man among boys. I mean, he's playing in a minor league, so I don't know the significance of it, how to go ahead and really sort of evaluate what he's doing. But it is great. He's 50 years old. He's still scoring like 3 goals a game in this amateur league, the MLS. But when, again, it begs the magic question: when is the season over? This season's been going on like for 2 years.
I think it ends like this. I think it ends in October, sometime in October.
I've never seen anything like. How are they still fucking playing? What are you talking about? It's still
like
a regular season.
Like,
Didn't it? I mean, weren't we talking about this like a year ago? Oh yeah, well, Inter Miami should be good this year. Nobody gives a
this is
shit.
the second year, but yes, it was like March.
Sorry, Jim. Yeah, I'm amazed it gets coverage. All right, 2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, Ron, back to baseball. When Pete Rose was a rookie, he got his first major league hit off of Bob Friend of the Pirates. What was that hit?
God.
A home run, a triple, a double, or a single?
Let's go triple.
Triple. Yes.
Well done, Ron. Yes.
Charlie Hustle. You could see him. Did he originate the head first slide, Pete Rose?
He made it famous.
He
Yeah,
certainly
that's exactly
was
right.
its leading proponent, and all of the pictures of Pete diving into a base
Helmet falling off.
are great. Very similar. There was a picture of Dennis Rodman diving into the crowd where he's absolutely perpendicular to the ground, and he's going to get hit in the face with a chair if he lands anywhere. That would be a soft landing, and it's a classic because it epitomizes the kind of hustle that he exhibited when he was playing, as strange as he was. Pete, though, always, I mean, you see him just flying into a base 3 feet off the ground, diving head first. But I don't remember anybody sliding head first before that. Do you?
Before I came to Florida, I played in some semi-pro leagues in Allentown in Pennsylvania, around there. And from the age 10, I slid head first every time.
Oh, wow. I never did. I never could
and
do
if
that.
I did now, I would bounce a couple of times I think, before I got to the bag.
We used to, and that was a show of manhood when I was a little kid in Brooklyn, if you were willing to slide on the pavement. Seriously. Used to slide on the pavement. We would play on the sidewalk, punch ball, and if you slid, that was, I mean, it was almost like being bar mitzvahed or, getting a communion. It was a sign that you had emerged into being a man. And your pants would rip. Your mother was always pissed. Your whole leg would be all scraped up. But it was like, yeah, I was safe. Then there'd be a big argument. You get in a fight about whether you were safe or out. This preceded the days, of course, of instant replay, where you have no idea what happened at the end. Witness the end of the Virginia Tech Hurricanes game. All right, 5-point question here, Ron. Shot at 9, right?
And try to sweep. This will be our first sweep in a long
Sweep.
time.
Okay, sweep. Yeah, that's right.
Back to the NBA, Ron. During a game in the 2003 NBA season, Dikembe Mutombo had 10 blocks in a game versus one of his former teams. And the fans of his new team, the Knicks, began waving their fingers at him, and he would have got a technical if he did it at the player, so he waved his finger back at the fans. Who was that team he had the 10 blocks against in that finger-waving game? Was it Philadelphia, Denver, Houston, or New Jersey?
God. Go Denver.
Nuggets.
Okay,
No, he
Incorrect.
just come to the Knicks from New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. Wow.
All right, 5 points there. Very good. You want to hit to the finals there, Lubie?
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I should have kept her on then. All right. Let me
Okay.
just pause and-
Yeah, well, we have Andy and Ron. We were sort of trying to get in a position where Lenny would be able to get in, but unlike Andy, who's chained to a hospital bed somewhere, Lenny was out on various medical appointments. And I'm thinking, has our audience just gotten old, Dave? Well, what the hell is that? I mean, we always love the infusion of new blood into the show, but
Yeah.
in this case, most of our guys are spilling blood somewhere.
Well, we got to come up with like an invitation for people to join the show. And when we go to Landlubbers, I would go there one night and put one on each table for the people and say, hey, if you like trivia like this and you wake up in the morning and you want to have a little fun with Mike and Jeff, just dial us up.
Not sure if that's enough of an inducement. I would think Lubie would probably have to double the amount of the gift certificates and give one away to everybody who called.
Just everyone.
Regardless of the outcome of the game. And I don't know that we're in a position budget-wise to do that here, although we would be spending Alex Sufrine's money. All right, we're going to have the finals here in just a second. In fact, we're ready for it with Andy and Ron. Here's the way it works. Dave's going to fire off a question. You guys call out your name if you want to answer right away. Nobody answers right away. We offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first chance, and we'll go back and forth until we have a winner. So good luck, gentlemen. Here we go for the championship of the Trivia Challenge.
Ronnie, take care, buddy. You too.
None of this good-natured crap.
Yeah. What is this, a vice presidential debate? We know the two guys hate each other. They've been calling each other every name in the book, and then all of a sudden, whoa, the esteemed senator from Ohio. It's like, go fuck yourself. Timmy, nail this guy, hammer.
All right, guys, good luck. I hope you both get it wrong. Hockey. On this date in sports history, in 1997, the first ever NHL game outside of North America was played in Tokyo, Japan. The winning team was the Vancouver Canucks, who won 3-2 over whom?
Okay.
The LA Kings, the Winnipeg Jets, the Edmonton Oilers, or the Anaheim Mighty Ducks?
Andy, I'll go with the Kings.
Kings. That's what I would have said.
No.
Incorrect. 3 left for Ron.
Winnipeg Jets, Edmonton Oilers, or Anaheim Mighty Ducks?
Let's go Edmonton.
Edmonton.
No.
Great one wasn't part of that, or Messier. 2 left for Andy.
Winnipeg Jets or Anaheim Mighty Ducks?
Hey, you know, the guy next to me has got double vision. They're billing him twice for everything. It's amazing. Who's left there?
What was that?
What are the choices?
Winnipeg Jets or Anaheim Mighty Ducks?
Go with the Ducks.
Ducks.
Said.
Got it.
Yes,
Wow.
and we've made arrangements for you to get the gift certificate intravenously. So congratulations.
That is a first. I don't know how many qualifiers we have to, go ahead and attach to this thing. But the first time ever, a guy's come out of 10 hours of surgery and won the Trivia Challenge
That was the
upon
best
awakening the
ever.
next day and coming out of anesthesia.
It's never been that good at trivia ever.
Is there a clairvoyance that went along with this? I mean, was there a real? Is he actually dead and he's seeing things more clearly from heaven? What the fuck? Great job by Andy. All right, where are you going to be this weekend, Gurgles? What's going on with you?
I'm staying locally. I'm not going anywhere. I will be probably. You'll be at Mayo's Lunchbox tomorrow at the Stream.
Stream, yeah.
Gulfstream, yeah. Opening day, Keeneland.
I have the day off. I may be there for opening day at Keeneland. So.
Good time to play pick 4s, pick 5s. Always a ton of fun. All right, David, excellent job. We thank you very much for being the host, the master of ceremonies of the Trivia Challenge once again here. A Thursday edition of the Defo Show. Would not be right without giving everybody an opportunity to go out there and win something. And congratulations to Andy. That's amazing, huh, Lubie?
I just wanted him to play to hear his voice because you guys have been in communication. He and I haven't talked, and I've been like fucking worried about him. He not only sounded good, but that was the best literally he's played in a long time.
Well, the guy has faced any number of really severe circumstances, the kind of stuff that would make you just throw in the towel and say, hey, man, and resign yourself to, hey, it's a check, please,
Yep.
But and this one, when I was speaking with Andy a couple of times prior to him even engaging or having to endure these surgeries, 2 days, over 2 days, like 4 or 5 hours a day, and whatever they did, it worked. He sounded great. He was more coherent than ever. And razor sharp. I mean, nailing these impossible Gurgles questions. Yeah, we applaud that
Yes.
that effort. I don't know that we've ever seen effort like that from anyone. And we've had a lot of people go to a lot of extremes to try and compete on the game over the 25 or so years that we've been doing this thing. But wow, that was really something. So and I would imagine you could just take the gift certificate that he won, spend the 25 tonight, and bring it by the hospital tomorrow, and he'd be more than happy because, wow, their feed. I feed Skippy a lot better than the food he was getting in the hospital.
Jesus.
Actually, Skippy's food costs more than mine.
Oh, I think probably.
It's like I'm looking at this dog going, no wonder he's still alive here. He's eating like he's some Saudi Arabian prince. Unbelievable. All right, very good, Lubie. The rest of the day, what? We'll be at Wicked Cheesesteaks there.
Yes, sir.
It's always good. Brian, sweetheart of a guy, and gets rave reviews on the Let's Eat South Florida site. We do have a little time here, and we have some stuff coming up. Games tonight, Lubie.
We do.
You have. I mean, do you get involved in watching these sort of? I mean, they're not exactly the marquee matchups that take place on a Thursday night. Do they need to step that up, or are people so desperate? I'm looking here at a column of odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the odds and ends for the Thursday night game tonight.
I mean,
which,
Bucks and
we didn't touch on.
Falcons actually.
It's an interesting
If you look
proposition.
at it 2 years ago, yeah, but the way the Bucks finished last year, the way the Falcons came on, the whole thing between Penix and Cousins is playing pretty well. And they're in the same division. That's actually a decent game. Like, I can't lie. As the Thursday games have gone.
Are you buying the Bucks with Baker Mayfield? 3-1 on the season. Falcons are 2-2. Kirk Cousins looks like he's got the aftermath of Achilles. Where, I mean, does Aaron Rodgers look as sharp as he did when he was with the Packers?
Oh, no.
Now, naturally, there would be some kind of what would you call it? Debilitation that would go along with the injury, but also old age. It was about to hit him in the face. Looked okay in that one game that the Jets won when everybody had him winning the Super Bowl again.
Yes.
Where they beat some schmink team
Yes.
by a touchdown.
Yes.
Or what, 10 points, something like that. And then they come back last week and lay an absolute egg. And I think that is one of the most curious games on the board this week. Minnesota in London against the New York Jets. And Minnesota only laying 2 and a hook with a 4-0 start. Sam Darnold quarterbacking like, at this point,
yeah.
people are saying he's an MVP candidate, which you would have never.
They're in an interesting. They're actually the anti-Dolphins, where they drafted a quarterback. He looked good in preseason. They were excited about him. He then got hurt. They then moved quickly to get Darnold, or they already had Darnold. They were trying to have Darnold, and he had been there all summer. He was ready, and he looks fucking great. So now they have a plethora of quarterbacks, and they're in an interesting place because people were sort of writing them off after Cousins leaves. They may be the best team in the NFC right now. They don't have the best record. Like, the Niners don't have a record comparable to them. So they're an interesting test case. I would think they would beat the Jets soundly, but I don't know when they go overseas.
You can't trust anything anymore. Well, yeah, like you said, I mean, and there's an equation there to the Hawaii Bowl, is there not? The overseas games, because it does seem like one team comes out completely lethargic and looking completely spaced out, and the other team, may not be razor sharp, but they're sharp enough to go ahead and take advantage of that.
Yep.
Very much like the one team you have to figure out and get some inside reports in the Hawaii Bowl. One team usually looks like they just got rejected from Animal House because they were too far gone. And the other team, looks polished and ready to play some football, and you inevitably get a blowout in that game one way or the other. I mean, how could you watch the Jets' last performance and have any faith that they'll be within a field goal of the Minnesota Vikings in this game? And yet, somebody sent me something. I forget who it was. They sent me a clip where it was being described how the bookies are just burying everybody in Las Vegas so far because of the wild unpredictability of the National Football League early results, where you're seeing teams that you never figured doing well. You're seeing teams that you thought were going to be really good getting shellacked week after week.
Bengals, Dolphins, yep.
And then, 1 week to the next, a complete 180 turnaround performance of teams. And, you have the Patriots beating the Ravens, and the Ravens getting off to that 0-2 start, but they are cleaning up on the betters in the early portion. And here's the weird thing, Lubie. I know it's 17 games, so we're in week number 5, almost a third of the way through the regular season, which seemed like it just started yesterday, didn't it?
Yes.
We haven't really gotten a great feel for it yet. And still struggling around. But the game tonight, Kirk Cousins doesn't look quite the same, does he? As he did a year or so ago when he was attracting these big contract offers in free agency. The Falcons signed him. They aren't getting anything out of it. And this is an interesting one because I'm looking at a complete column of prop bets, and this probably barely scratches the surface of what's available, including various over-under totals on yardage and things of that nature. Libby, do you follow this at all? I don't
know.
Seems to be too much for the average old age bettor to get into all of this stuff. Kyle Pitts, though, didn't have a single catch in the last Falcons game. And the implication was in this handicapping column I was reading by a guy named Andrew Norton. He likes the Buccaneers tonight, as does one of our handicappers on Barrier Bookie, the great Scotty M, who's surfaced and comes now as a polished degenerate gambling show host.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe how good this guy is at doing this stuff. I mean, because he was a guy that was reluctantly guesting on our shows years ago. Said, hey, how did that sound? Now all of a sudden he's literally Bob Costas of gambling.
Nice.
It's great. Nice to see. So the prop bet on Pitts is over under 31.5 yards for a guy who had 0 yards in this last game. So two schools of thought there, right? That to win this game, the Falcons desperately need to establish this guy who people were talking about Travis Kelce being finished. And as soon as they did that, what does he do? He catches like 9 balls in the next Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And all of the scuttlebutt about, when he was drunk and this and that. And they had the pictures of him, just looking like he was out of it completely, looking like his brother at a championship rally. And, I was draped all over Taylor Swift. And you're thinking, the guy partied himself right out of being one of the top tight ends in football, or maybe all time. So Pitts, I always liked this guy. I don't know. I haven't followed his career closely enough. But he really hasn't panned out, to the level that you would have thought. He was a monster. Right? And in his rookie season, wasn't he great?
Kyle Pitts? Flashes. He was a guy that most Dolphins fans really wanted, and he just hasn't really hit what you would want from a guy who's drafted in the top 5 or top 6.
So what do you make of that? 31.5 yards. He would have to catch probably 3 or 4 balls to get there. Over. Okay.
I'd say over. I mean, like the guys, it's supposed to be a key cog in their offense, and this is a division matchup that will have playoff implications later in the season. Like you would hope the guy would catch 4 or 5 balls. That's not even that good of a day. And
this was a sidebar in the analysis of the game. Further, tight end Kyle Pitts continues to be a complete non-factor for the Falcons, failing to gain any separation on defenders and looking as if he is moving at half speed. Against the Saints, he had 0 receptions, the first time he was held without a catch in his career. So, what do you think? Did he throw the first 5 passes to Kyle Pitts and hope that he gets to 31.5 yards? Maybe the coach is betting the over. When are we going to find something like that happening, right? Where the coach says, can you believe this? We only going to get this cat 32 yards and I can double my salary for the year? That's going to happen in memory and dedicated to the memory of the great Pete Rose. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you at Wicked Cheesesteaks later if you want to stop by. That's just south of Commercial Boulevard on Federal Highway. And Brian will welcome you with open arms because he always does. And that's one of the nice things you see in the comments. You'll see people raving about the food, and then they say, and the owner could not be a nicer guy.
Yeah, they always mention him by name. It's like, it's actually pretty cool. He's like right there. People
nice to see. Yes, with the local business here. Because, competitive as all hell. I was looking at something. There was a feature on TV last night about this Greek restaurant in South Beach. And they were actually talking about what impact there will be. Everybody's out there. There's no toilet paper to be had anywhere in town, Lubie. No paper towels. You would think it was COVID-19 all over again.
Why is that?
Because of the dock strike, the longshoreman strike.
This fucking strike, oh God.
Yes, so people are assuming, and I read somebody posted something that said paper goods are not really going to be impacted by this. that it's mostly pharmaceuticals and other stuff that gets imported. But this poor cat, he was getting all of his ingredients imported from various places, and I was trying to put on a great show there at his restaurant with the ultimate in quality, authentic ingredients, if you will. And he said that his prices have skyrocketed. So what do you do in that spot, Louis?
No idea. Oh no, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that they succumb to the strike. I don't know. I knew what effect they did. Realize it would come that close to home for people like that.
Yeah. I mean, I hope I don't run out of toilet paper. That's really my big fear.
She buys it like for the year.
Mustang's pretty good about that. She stays on top of it, but I notice she's hidden all of the paper plates because I use a couple every day. Hidden the paper plates and saying, I remember like sort of hearing like, you're only half listening most of the time, something about use a regular plate, which of course I didn't do this morning. I had to dig one out of the garbage, Lubie. This only had a little dog food on it. I'll use that. All right. We'll see you later on, kiddo. And bring your appetite there to Wicked Cheesesteaks. And I will catch you guys later on a number of different platforms. So too many to describe. I got about 100 shows to do today. And we'll see you next time as we leave you now that.
The time.
It's 9:04.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my show.